Hello everyone, I'm Alpha Somani. I'm from Bhilwara. We'll be teaching you English. Let me introduce myself. As I told you, I'm from Bhilwara. I've done my BTech from Jaipur and I've done my Masters from Mithibai College, Mumbai. And I'll be teaching you English and we'll be studying English together. So what we are doing today, we are doing chapter number 3, An Unpleasant Happening by Roald Dahl. Who is Roald Dahl? So, as you people have already done the vocab part of the chapter, we'll be moving to the explanation part of the chapter. Okay, आपने vocab कर लिया है already. So हम अब explanation की तरफ बढ़ेंगे. This is a very good and very interesting chapter written by Roald Dahl. Who is Roald Dahl? Roald Dahl is a very famous British novelist and a short story writer. What does he do? He writes short stories and novels for children, and very interesting novels and very interesting short stories he writes. His some novels like Matilda and The Charlie and the Chocolate Factory are very famous. And if you get time and if you can find these two novels, just please read those novels. They are very interesting. And he is Mr. Roald Dahl, whose chapter we'll be studying, An Unpleasant Happening. Okay. So what image comes to your mind when I say the word doctor? Okay. When I say doctor, what image comes to your mind? For us, for kids, doctor means injection. Doctor injection लगा देगा, right? We are very threatened. We are threatened by our parents. अगर बदमाशी करोगे तो injection लग जाएगा, right? So for us, the image that comes to our minds when I say the word doctor is injection, the various instruments which doctor uses for, for cutting, for sewing. So there are various instruments like these you might have seen when you have visited doctor. What else what else clicks your mind when I say doctor? There's a nurse around there. There are, medicines, there are tablets, there are lotions. This is like a doctor's clinic, a doctor's table. So all this image is very frightening for a kid, right? It's very frightening when I say doctor, when I say we will visit a doctor. So a child or a kid he's threatened that, oh my God, what will happen when I will visit a doctor? He might put an injection on me, right? We are threatened, right? So similarly, in this chapter, what happens is that Mr. Roald Dahl, the author of the chapter, he visits a doctor. He is taken to the doctor by his mother, and then what happens? He he has some adventure there. He has some very frightening activity there. So this chapter, uh, An Unpleasant Happening, is an extract from Roald Dahl's autobiography. Okay, what is an autobiography? When I write something about myself, when I explain something about my life, then it's called autobiography. When you write something about yourself, your life, then it's called your autobiography. So this chapter is also a part from Roald Dahl's autobiography. Okay, autobiography means when you write about your own life, when you write about your own life experiences. Okay, so this chapter is about a child's experience. Who's the child here? It's Mr. Roald Dahl. Okay, so this chapter is about a child's experiences at a doctor's clinic when he visits a doctor's clinic. Okay, let's see what happens when he visits the clinic. He visits the doctor. Okay, okay. Let's start with the reading. Let's start with the explanation. The story is a memorable extract from Roald Dahl autobiography where a child shares all his unpleasant experiences at doctor's clinic. So Roald Dahl visits the doctor and he has some unpleasant happening. The title of the chapter explains that when he visits the doctor, something unpleasant, something very bad happens to him. So we will get to know what unpleasant thing will happen to him when he visits the doctor. Okay. So it starts by a visit to the doctor can be very frightening for one little child. Okay. A visit to the doctor, if I say to a child that we will visit the doctor, he must be very frightened. He must be very threatened that, oh no, I am going to the doctor. So what will happen? So a visit to the doctor it can be very frightening for a child. It can be very threatening for a child, especially when he sees needles, knives, and scissors lying around. You might have seen that when you visit the doctor, there are so many, instruments lying around, like knives, scissors, right? So a child is threatened by the surroundings of the doctor, that he might cut something on my body, that he might put an injection on my body. So a child is threatened by the surroundings of a doctor's clinic. Similarly, Roald Dahl was also threatened by the doctor's clinic. So what happens? I once had to make a visit to a doctor for an operation when I was with my grandparents in Oslo, in Norway. So what happened once? As I said, Mr. Roald Dahl had to go to a doctor once when he in Oslo in Norway. Norway is a city. Oslo is a city. So when he went to his grandparents in Oslo in Norway, he had to make a visit to a doctor. He was taken to a doctor. And I have never forgotten it, and he has never forgotten it. Hasn't he never forgotten it? Why did Roald Dahl never forgot that he was taken to a doctor? Because something unpleasant, something very bad happened to him. Okay, let's see what happens to him. We were visiting my grandparents' house during the summer holidays when my mother said me, we are going to the doctor this afternoon. Okay, so Roald Dahl, along with his mother, he was at his grandparents' house when his mother told him, what? That we are visiting a doctor, that I am going to take you to a doctor. Okay. He wants to look at your mouth and nose. What will the doctor do? The doctor will look at your mouth. Whose mouth? Roald Dahl's mouth and nose. So the mother wanted to take Roald Dahl to a doctor so that he could take a look at his nose and mouth. So suddenly he was shocked. Who was shocked? Roald Dahl was shocked. What is wrong with my mouth and nose? I asked. Who asked? Roald Dahl asked his mother, what is wrong with my mouth and nose? मेरे mouth और nose को क्या हुआ है that you are taking me to the doctor? Nothing much, my mother said, but I think you have got adenoids. Mother replied, Mother said that nothing much. There's not much that has happened to you, but I suspect, I have a doubt that you might have adenoids. Adenoids are like tonsils we have here in the neck, in the throat we have tonsils. So adenoids are also like tonsils. They were inside the mouth and near the throat. So the mother had a doubt that Roald Dahl might have adenoids. Now that was difficult word for an 8-year-old. If I say you have adenoids, I don't know what is adenoid if I am an 8-year-old, right? A छोटा सा बच्चा जो है, a kid, 8-year-old kid, he doesn't know what adenoids are. So he was threatened by it. What is that? So he asked his mother, what are they? What is adenoids? He asked his mother. She told me not to worry about it as it was nothing. So what did the mother say? She said, don't worry about the adenoids. They are nothing. They are just, simple. They are very normal and common to most of the people. I held her hand as we walked to the doctor's house. So the Mr. Roald Dahl, what did he do? He held her mother's hand. Why did he held her mother's hand? Because he was very nervous, because he was very frightened at what will happen to him when he will visit the doctor. So he was holding his mother's hand. When we got there, I was lifted up into a kind of dentist chair in the treatment room. So what happened when he visited the doctor's clinic? He was lifted up into a kind of dentist chair. Dentist जैसी जो chair होती है, like that. So he was put into that. He was made to sit into the chair in the treatment room. Doctor had a round mirror strapped to his forehead. So he's like the doctor and he has a round mirror on his forehead. So उसके forehead पे, on his head, there was a round mirror. And he looked into my mouth and up my nose. So what did the doctor do? He looked into his mouth, that what is inside his throat, and he looked up his nose, that if there is something wrong with his nose. So he looked at that. When we got there, I was lifted up. Oh, sorry, we were there. Then he took my mother to one side and had a quiet talk with her. So what happened then? Up till now, what happened? The child, uh, Roald Dahl, he was looked into his throat by the doctor. Then what did the doctor do? He took his mother at one side and he talked to her. There is something wrong. Okay? And he had a talk with her. I saw my mother looking very serious. So what happened when the doctor talked to his mother? His mother became very serious, as she agreed to what he was suggesting. And the doctor was suggesting something, that we should do this and we should do that. And the mother agreed to it. And the mother said, okay. So up till now, what happened to us? There's a boy whose name is Roald Dahl, and he visits a doctor. When he went to his grandparents' house in Oslo, in Norway, he was made to visit a doctor with whom? With his mother. He visits the doctor along with his mother. And the doctor takes a look into his nose and into his throat, and he checks what is wrong with the throat and the nose. So, as the mother suggested, as the mother doubted that he might have adenoids, the doctor was taking a look at that. So, what was the disease the boy was diagnosed with? He was diagnosed with adenoids. The mother had a doubt that he might have adenoids. And where was the boy asked to sit? The boy was asked to sit in a dentist chair where the doctor had a look at his throat. What did the doctor ask to the boy after he was lifted up into a chair? What did the doctor ask him to do? That you just relax and that you just sit into the chair. This is nothing, okay? How was the mother relaxing the child? That we will see in the next part of the chapter. And where did the boy go during the summer holidays? He went to his grandparents' house. Was he alone? Did he go alone to the grandparents? No, he was with his mother. He went there with his mothers. Where did they plan? Where were they going to that afternoon? They were going to visit a doctor. What did the boy find around him at the doctor's clinic? What did the boy see around the doctor's clinic? He saw scissors, he saw knives, he saw some cutting instruments, and with those instruments, he was frightened, that he was very afraid to see those instruments. उसको बहुत डर लगा ये सारे instruments देख के. Okay, so that's all about this part of the chapter, and we'll be doing the next part of the remaining part of the chapter in the next lecture. Till then, I'll be giving you the assignment. You have to do these 3 questions. I'll post the assignment on Scholars ERP, and till then, you have to complete the assignment and submit it to me. Okay, see you in the next lecture. Thank you so much.